Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Goblins live show. I hope you're all doing well. We've got, it's an interesting topic lined up for you today. But right at the last minute, had a bit of a curveball thrown at us about it, which we're going to discuss because we thought it was quite funny anyway. But we kind of made us, what's the word?
Question?
Not question, and there's a certain phrase that I'm looking for about actually even doing this topic whatsoever. But yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And we'll see what people think about this topic and go from there. You ready, wifey?
I'm ready.
All right, let's roll that intro. How's things, wifey?
Yeah, good.
You doing all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. All right, I suppose. I've not been sleeping much recently, so I think getting back into routine has hit me pretty hard. But yeah,
It's the time of year as well. You wake up, it's dark. You finish work, it's dark.
yeah,
It's just depressing, isn't it?
yeah. January, I think, is the month I always struggle with.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, nothing really new to report.
Nope.
I don't think there's anything certain, anything exciting going on at the moment with us.
No.
Just kind of, just same old, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, right, I think we'll jump straight into the topic of today's video.
Yes.
So, all right. So there was an article that came out on a website called thisismoney.co.uk. Now, I don't really read newspapers all that much, so I struggle to know if some of these articles are legit or whatever, but it seems legit. But literally about 15 minutes before we were meant to go live, I had a look what's the word I said? To ratify the information to see if it was actually, if it was legit or not. And all of a sudden, I found out that this isn't exactly new news, even though they're calling it new news, if you know what I mean.
It's like regurgitated information.
Yeah, it is. So, hey, I mean, I don't know. So what I'll do, I'll bring it up on this laptop here as well so you guys can see it for yourselves. But, oh, God, it wound me up. It wound me up, to say the least. All right, but anyway, yeah, this article is basically talking about the certain planned proposals to cut fuel usage. It might not just be in the UK. It might be also in other countries as well, because this is an IEA recommendation, which is the International Energy Association. I think that's what it is.
That sounds like a really good guess. If that's not right, I'm really surprised.
Pretty sure that's
International International Energy Agency.
Agency. Okay, yeah.
That's a mouthful. Energy Agency.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's really funny because this article is saying how it's an environmental audit committee published a new report on reducing fossil fuel use, which I thought was interesting.
And apparently this was published on Thursday. This brand new report.
Yeah, last week, 5th of January. Right, let's see if I can find it. I might need to borrow your eyes, wifey. See if I can. I searched for something different before. And that's how I managed to find some of these other articles that came up.
This is all about.
I know what I've done. Yeah, because it talks specifically about reducing the national speed limit.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
here we go.
I did a little bit of looking into speed limits before we went live.
Yeah.
And in 1935, outside of a town centre, you were allowed to drive as fast as you wanted. There was no limit.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think like the 70s or the 60s, that's when the 70 miles came in. It was a trial to start with. And then it just, can't be the 70s, must be earlier than that. But yeah, I was just really interested as to why we had a 70 mile per hour speed limit. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But that was an interesting read. That's all.
So, God, bloody hell, this website is awful. Look at all those adverts and all that crap around it. There are some people that can read websites like this and totally ignore the adverts on them. I really struggle to do that.
I try and be quite blinkered and just read what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so Environmental Audit Committee published a new report on reducing fossil fuel use. Right, if I go ahead and find this other one, because this was on the Manchester Evening News, and this was published almost exactly a year ago, but it was in March 2022, and it's just not a new report whatsoever. But we'll discuss some of the proposals, shall we say? Manchester Evening News. So I'm doing this all now because me and the wife were contemplating doing this topic at all today. So that's why I'm doing this all now. What's it called? Lower motorway speed limits. All right, let's see.
It was one of those quandaries we had where we didn't want to regurgitate information again.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
when we found this, we thought this is just too good not to.
And it's just
not
a bit.
to talk about.
I don't know. It's just a bit ridiculous. Because it's literally regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. Just a year later. So I don't know where this website. Bloody hell, what's going on here?
What are you trying to do?
Laptop's having a funny 5 minutes as well. All right. Here we go. So yeah, this was on the Manchester Evening News, and this came out in March 2022. And I knew it was exactly the same proposals because they have a list of 10 proposals that this IEA want to try and get governments to implement. And it's exactly the same as before. These 10.
If you just go back up to the top of your article.
Of this one?
The Manchester one.
Yeah.
Go to the very top. There's the title. I'm going to read the title from the one that we found today. Lower motor.
There's no point. There's no point. It's the same.
Lower motorway speed limits to 64 miles per hour and ban driving in cities on Sundays. It's nearly word for word.
It is almost exactly the same.
It's mad.
But
like they found it and gone, oh wait.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
But the motivation behind these articles is slightly different. So on this one, this is about reducing the cost of fuel. So it talks a little bit about how, because this was back in the day when fuel prices were skyrocketing out of control, and there was no no foresight to how expensive fuel was going to get.
They were close to £2, weren't they? 160, 170.
Yeah, it was up to 190. 190 per litre, at least around here. That's what it got to.
Yeah.
Maybe even a bit more than that. But yeah, so this. So the motivation behind this is to try and cut the cost of fuel for people. On the other article, it's talking actually more about limiting imports from Russia.
Yeah.
Limiting imports. But the main thing that caught my eye about this article, the first one anyway, was about cutting motorway speed limits to 64 miles an hour. And I was going to try and I was actually going to argue why that might be a good thing. Surprisingly enough.
See, that's thrown me slightly because I had no idea what you were going to talk about, like what your thoughts were. I didn't even think to ask you prior to this what your thoughts were. That's interesting. I don't know. Well, let's. Are we going to go through their suggestions, or are we just going to talk about your reasoning? What do you want
we
to
can talk about, or we can have a look at all of them and see, kind of what, I don't know, what other proposals they might have that might be interesting. But yeah, this is the one that I think is catching most people's eyes. But I don't know. So I mean, okay, so for me, the 64-mile-an-hour limit. Funnily enough, whenever I'm doing longer journeys, I'm actually doing around about 60 miles an hour on the motorway anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because, I mean, I don't know, it's just something that I've done for a long time, is actually sticking to a speed that is cruising speed, if you know what I mean. It's not anything that, I don't know, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to, if you're doing a long journey, I don't know, if you're traveling for 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, something like that, and it's mostly motorway, then I don't know, I just don't really see the need to rush.
It's not really gonna get that much quicker, are you?
Not really. I mean,
how much fuel?
It would depend if it would. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there've been times where we've travelled from here to the southeast of England, and I was able to do it on a tank of fuel. This is in my car. I was able to do it on a tank of fuel, but if I went any quicker, I'd have to fuel up. That's so. Even though that's not like I don't know, like it's not like it's anecdotal kind of thing. It's not anything specific or nothing that we can use as evidence, so to speak. I do get a lot better mileage if I just lower the speed limit a little bit. So I don't really see this as an issue personally. But having said that, I don't use motorways all that much.
No, we don't anymore.
So this isn't something that is going to affect me, or this is going to affect someone like me disproportionately to someone else. If you're traveling to London every day and you're using the motorways, well, maybe you want that extra headroom to blast it up there if you need to.
When my dad was working, he'd have to travel to 3 different offices, wouldn't he? And that would be a motorway every single day. But I mean, I guess obviously one argument is the fuel side of it, but what about like the congestion side of it? Do you think it's going to ease congestion, make it worse? You know, where does this stand for things like? I don't know.
I don't know, to be honest. That's tough.
Oh, that's very so.
Well, yeah, that's true. But bear with me a second. Sorry, I'm just gonna. My laptop's complaining a little bit of performance, so I'm just gonna sort it out. Right, there we go. That should be better. All right. So okay. Right, there's something that I want to address, just because, I mean, you know, it's kind of got me in a bit of a bad mood. So, I mean, 125 guy, good to see you, mate. Thank you for leaving your message in the chat. But he's asked why we're not on Discord, and I mean, I thought I gave an answer to everyone last week. You know, just time, and it's not something that I'm monitoring, but I'm not on it every day, and you know, I just don't have a lot of time at the moment. So I'll get on whenever I can, and that's why I like to organise it. I mean, we did say that we'd be on the Discord last weekend. Things came up, and I just didn't get around to doing it. So I apologise. We'll try getting on. I don't know. What do you think? You'll try this weekend again, if nothing comes up.
I can do Sunday because I'm not here.
Oh, that's
Saturday
true. Yeah,
and tomorrow
yeah. The wifey is traveling to the southeast.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, Sunday. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
but
Well,
it's going to have to be that planned.
Yeah.
Because we've got so much going on, and obviously we've had a few personal things happen that have obviously caused us not be able to go on and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I do get notifications as well. Like, if I've been tagged in something, or if someone has sent me a message, I do get notifications to tell me that someone has sent me a message. It's just having the time to get through it. And as well, I mean, the wifey had a look at what video was it that we published? There was a few comments on that. I don't know. There's a recent video about how we don't respond to comments and things. We get a lot of comments coming through, and I do respond to them as and when I can. But it's something that I want to improve on. Which one?
Video yesterday.
Yesterday's video. It's something I want to improve on, but it's again, it's just trying to find time and being able to organize it. Because I don't know, guys. It's just one of those things that. There's not enough time to get a lot of this stuff done. So, 125 guy, we'll start organizing it a bit more, getting a bit more active on the Discord. And remember, guys, it's a new thing as well. We released the Discord in December.
Yeah, and then Christmas happened.
So we're trying to figure out exactly where it fits into. What we do every week, and because we need to try and find the right time for us to join in with conversations and things like that. And remember that Discord is meant to be a public forum. It's not something that we should really be instigating. I don't think. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know, but it's just one of those things that our viewers asked to have it, so we did it. But we're still trying to figure out how much involvement the viewers want us to have in it, because I don't want to be in it all the time, because it's not what it's about. It's not about us. It's about the community, and so that's why I'm trying to do it like that. But hey, I don't know. You guys tell us. But yeah, so it's just got me in a bit of a downer, because it's as much as I would love to do this full time, I can't afford to do this full time, guys. So our priority is releasing the content, and that is number one priority. So we spend a lot of our time doing that than anything else, whether that be reading comments, whether that be even looking at analytics and stuff like that. I don't get a lot of time to analyze analytics. Off top of your head if a video's performed well or not. But going through. I mean, well, I'll tell you the amount of notifications that I've got just over the last week. But we get a lot of notifications come through from YouTube, and it's all comments. Yeah. So we've had about 50, 60 comments in not last week, the last couple of weeks before Christmas, things like that. Okay, so it just ends up being a full-time job in its own right, kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, don't lose faith. Okay, we will jump on the Discord. We will look at more comments. I mean, you might be able to get wifey involved in it as well to give me a hand. So maybe the wifey can do some comment responses to help me out.
Yeah, I'll make my Discord debut on Sunday.
Okay.
I've not
that's
been on.
True. Yeah, you've not been on it, have you?
No, I wasn't. I didn't think I was very well the first time you went on, and I was.
Yeah.
I excused myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm gonna pop it in. I'm gonna pop it in my diary so I don't forget.
Anyway, all right. So let's just get back on topic here. Yeah. It's because I just wanted to get that off my chest. It just put me in a give me a what's the word? It put me in a downer. Is that the word?
Got you in a funk, didn't it?
Yeah, it got me in a funk. Yeah.
Right, there we go.
All right.
You are scheduled in.
So, I mean, as much as 64 miles an hour on motorways might be a bit of a pain, I'm not totally against it.
I think there's people going slower than that anyway.
Oh.
Isn't there? So
yeah,
what's the the only question I have, I guess, which is, sorry, that comment distracted me. The lorry. What's the top speed for a lorry at the moment? 60? So we're not going to go much faster than lorries if that gets dropped down to 64.
No, not really. No, so I don't know. I mean, how much of an impact it's actually going to have in the real world is actually
minimal.
Debatable anyway.
I think the only thing in there from that title, without reading the points of things, is the city driving on Sundays. But who really?
That's not a new thing though. Having no driving in cities on Sundays is actually, I don't know. I'm sure I've heard about that years ago. About certain cities proposing that, but it's never happened. I don't think it ever will. I think that's difficult to ask. A lot of people use Sundays to do shopping. Whenever we go out and do any kind of food shop whatsoever, I hate going out on Sundays, but we end up going out on Sundays
inevitably.
Because it's just either convenience or something like that. But yeah, so we end up going out on Sundays, and it's always super busy. So I don't think that's. I mean, maybe midweek, something like that. I don't know. Maybe that'd be better than Sundays.
But if you've got people that are working late in town and need to get home because the shop's open later during the week than the weekend.
Yeah,
on a Sunday anyway.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry, one second.
The funny thing is as well is that it was only just a few months ago when there were proposals about increasing motorway speed limits.
I know, right?
And now all of a sudden, this isn't all of a sudden, because again, this is kind of tying into what we were saying earlier about these two newspapers saying this is both new reports when actually they're not. They're not new reports at all. So it kind of just like messed up our whole plan here. But it's just, you can't have a couple of months ago, you can't have saying, MPs are looking at increasing motorway speed limits, and then now a few months later saying, no, actually we're going to lower speed limits.
Almost saying, like, we're going to have like an almost Autobahn type thing, and then be like, actually no, we're now going to completely reverse it. I
mean, this agency, I don't know where they come from, who they are, and how much influence they actually have over these things. I mean, have you heard of them before?
IEA?
Yeah.
No.
So it's not an organisation that I'm familiar with.
Whenever we've done articles in the past, I've never seen.
No.
I've never that's not something. Mag's always come up, obviously, but this isn't someone that's familiar to me.
Yeah. So. But I don't know. It just seems a bit far fetched. Some of these things seem far fetched. Even lowering speed limits on motorways is a far fetched thing to do. People don't want to be travelling slower. I think we've established that quite a number of times on the show. People should be moving faster, not slower, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. But I mean, I prefer to have more freedom to drive the way I like to, that's comfortable for me, not unsafe, not stupid, but that's comfortable. But even that apparently is too much for some people. So it kind of, I don't know. I don't know, maybe they're trying to sound reasonable, but it's not coming across reasonable at all. So it's just, well, shall we have a look at some of these other points that they want to implement? Let's see if in this original article that was released.
I don't think there is.
No, it's not. It's not on it. That's actually hilarious. There's actually some more points on here from other people about the motorway speed limit proposals and things like that. And we might go through those later on as well. They've just caught my eye. But yeah, so if we have a look at this Manchester Evening News article instead, so we'll show you the 10 proposals and we'll kind of go through them one by one.
Oh, we can make it a bit bigger because that font is
it is a bit small.
The greatest.
Is that big enough? Can you see that now?
Yeah, I think it's just where the font is just
All right. So obviously, number one, reduce speed limits to 64 miles an hour. Working from home up to 3 days a week or where possible. I mean, by default, a lot of office workers, us included, work from home almost exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who that is targeting.
I mean, I know
to be honest.
I do know people that prefer working in the office.
Yeah, I know, but they also work from home as well when they can.
So, a couple of people I work with don't. They just work in the office.
Okay, but still, I mean, only 2 people though.
Oh, they're the only two people I talk to at work.
Right. Well, it's a new job, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So, but I know that a lot of people prefer. There's been people I speak to, and every time I've spoken to them, they've been in the office because there's too many distractions at home, or it's like dropping the kids off at school. It's easier.
Well, but in that case, it kind of evens itself out then, doesn't it? If you've got half the staff that prefer working in the office and half the staff that prefer working from home, then you're kind of evening the split, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
because for me, my contract is purely work from home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't ever have to go to an office.
Yeah. I mean, mine isn't. Mine is
office based, aren't you?
Mine is office based.
But
so
you work from home.
Yeah, I work from home majority of the time, unless I'm needed in the office for something specific. Car-free Sundays in cities. I mean, you kind of mentioned that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think that's a dumb idea. Sunday, people do a lot of stuff on Sundays, and usually around towns and cities.
Yeah.
So
what are the things you forget to do on a Saturday that you do on Sunday?
I don't know. Maybe that's just us, but whenever we go out on Sundays, we see a lot of people out and about on Sundays. So we'll just have to. I don't know. We actively try not to go out on Sundays because it can be so bad. But yeah, maybe that's just around here. I don't know. Make use of public transport cheaper. What? That doesn't make sense, does it?
Cheaper.
So I think that's supposed to be a comma there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Make use of public transport cheaper and incentivize micro-mobility, walking and cycling.
In Luxembourg, public transport is free.
Well, that's a really good incentive, isn't it?
Someone I work with, that when I was in Guernsey and I was spending obviously a lot of time with new people, although he rides a motorbike, the incentive over there is to use the public transport so that the cities are not so built up. Mm. So he will do that because it's free. Yeah. He doesn't have to use his bike
Yeah, I mean,
fuel and things.
That's the best incentive that you can do, isn't it? Is just to make public transport free. I mean, if Luxembourg can do it, teeny tiny country of Luxembourg. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could make things like the London Underground free. Just certain parts of public transport, and then I think people would be more incentivized to do it. Having said that, though, people in and around London, they already use it because it's more convenient. It's probably quicker than if they decide to use a car.
Maybe if there are more things like the cycle to work scheme going on, then people might be.
What's that though?
That was something like you would get a grant from the government of X amount to go towards a bike and your gear to ride or to cycle to work. Basically, I don't know I don't know much about it. I never did it.
Not a big incentive, really, is it?
But you got like £1,200 or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I could be completely off on the figure, but it was quite a good figure.
Oh, okay.
I thought.
Well, maybe we need more stuff like that. And I mean, yeah. Thing is, though, by default, people are using these public transport, cycling, walking anyway, simply because they can't get around in a car very well.
What's micro-mobility? Is that those scooters?
Well, I think they're referring to walking and cycling there.
Oh, right, okay.
So your own individual transport.
But the electronic scooters as well.
They didn't say anything about motorcycles, though, did they? Why do you think in so many countries in Asia, so many countries in South America, so many countries around the world that people use motorcycles as their primary way to get around cities because of how many people there are, how dense the cities are. So if we're having a similar problem, well, we should be incentivizing people to use motorcycles, don't you think?
There is that.
I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but... So the next one, alternate private car access to roads in large cities. I don't quite understand what that means. Alternate private car access to roads in large cities.
What, so private cars go a different route to normal cars?
I don't know.
Let's skip over that one because that one makes no sense.
I'm sorry. I don't know what they're referring to there.
Pass.
Increase car sharing and adopt practices to reduce fuel use. That is a lot harder to do than just the sentence implies, don't you think?
Yeah, because you've got to find someone that's in your area that isn't out of... Because if I went to pick up someone that I had to go around the houses to get them, then come back on myself to go to work, where's the benefit in that?
Well, that's the thing. It becomes a massive inconvenience for the person that's driving the car, because they're the one that has to go out their way to pick people up and drop people off. You know? So I really don't quite understand that one either, really, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know. That's something that I think schools have used before.
There is actually signs around here it says like car sharing or can you car share or something, and it's I personally, when I would go to work, I'd like having my own time to wind down and get ready for the day. I know, just to like have my own time. I don't know, having to make small talk with people in the morning.
I mean, this kind of thing only really works if, like you say, if it's a local thing.
Yeah.
If you and your neighbours are going the same place. Since when are you and your next door neighbour ever going the same place to work, even a similar place to work?
No. And also there's not going to be someone that's conveniently on your route that you're going to be taking. You're going to have to make a detour. I don't know how practical
without
that is.
Without a doubt. Yeah. So again, it's something that's impractical. It's not really it's not going to work in the real world, is it? Promote efficient driving for freight trucks and delivery of goods. Well, I mean, there's not really much more that they can do. I mean, they're already carrying a massive amount. They're transporting the heavy goods vehicles. They're transporting loads of weight anyway. So, how much more fuel efficient do you want them to get? It's difficult.
And if you're like, lighten the load, you're going to have another truck on the road to do the other half. So it's not going to work. I can't see how that would work.
Personally.
No,
well, unless they found a way to automate it. So instead of leaving it to the driver of the lorry to simply, manufacturing. So whether it be on the computers, whether make it automatic, something where it takes the driver out of the equation. And if they want it to be more fuel efficient or something like that, well, let the computers do it. What's the next one? Using high-speed trains and night trains instead of planes where possible. There's a reason why we use planes.
I've never tried to go to Spain on a train before.
Right, because again, it's a massive detour. And the plane's going to be cheaper
and quicker?
than if you use cheaper, and even if it is the same. If it's exactly the same time, if you use a high-speed train, you went from London to Madrid or something like that, or even London to Paris, okay? Now, that trip can be done. You can go from London to Paris. I don't know if there's any exchange or changeovers that you've got to do on a train. But let's say that it's exactly the same. Exactly the same between a plane and a train. It's going to be more expensive on the train anyway.
But regardless, say you went from Dover to Calais, you've still got to get to Dover somehow.
Well, yeah.
Which will probably be by car.
Yeah.
To put your car on the Eurotunnel.
You can make the argument that planes are already more efficient than trains. Mm-hmm. What if we got rid of all the trains and use trains exclusively for hauling materials, goods, whatever?
Cheap.
Instead of using it for transporting people, and then use planes almost exclusively for transporting people. I don't know. Maybe that's something else, but I don't. Again, it's nonsense. It's wishy-washy nonsense that it will never work. Avoid business air travel where alternative options exist. I don't know on this one. I don't travel on a business. I don't have a business ticket. I never buy business tickets.
I've flown for work, but I've never been in business.
No.
I don't. What's the difference
and that's
between
the thing.
being in business and...
Unless you are a high-ranking person within the company you work for, then you're more than likely going to get tickets economy class like everyone else. Because,
or even in...
Because it's more cost-effective. Why would a business put all their staff doing air travel on business class. They wouldn't. It costs more.
Yeah.
Unless they were trying to fly someone out, someone they're trying to make a deal with or something like that.
The only thing that I can comment on, because obviously doing a project about travel at work on at the moment, is that if your flight is over X amount of time, so say from here to Philadelphia, where it's going to be 8+ hours, at that point they then upgrade you. So for some companies, I believe it's on length of flight.
Right. Okay.
So, but if someone, let's say, going from here to America, you're going to be going on something like Virgin or British Airways, and economy there is fine. So I don't know.
It kind of begs the question: why do airliners have business class to begin with?
I don't know. Apparently, it's quite nice though.
Oh no, I know it is. I know it's nice. I mean, there are channels that specialize in going on flights using trains where they'll buy first class tickets and they review the experience on that particular airline.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
And that particular train.
Oh, I watched someone do that on Qatar Airlines.
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
Yeah, it looks great.
Did look good.
I mean, it's wasting space on the plane. With one of those booths, you could fit 6 people. And instead, it's all sectioned off for one person.
Yeah, you can recline, can't you?
Yeah, you can sleep in them and think, like you say, they recline all the way to flat, so it turns into a bed. And again, that's just inefficiency. But hey, I mean, if these airliners are going to make money out of it, then why wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. But again, it's all motivated by financial incentives. So, but the only reason why an airliner would do that is to make money off of it. So for one person paying for a first class ticket on a plane, how much profit do you think they make compared to, say, the amount of space used for 6 people paying economy seats?
Yeah.
I don't know. It maybe the profit margins are the same, but I wonder if the profit margins are higher on first class or business class. Because why else would they do it?
Do you know what? I'm willing, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself for this, to do a experiment. I will go first class somewhere, and we'll see how much it costs me to do that. And you have to see how far you can get using the same amount of money on a fueler tank. I will sacrifice myself for that. Sounds like a great idea.
I'm glad you put yourself forward for that, wifey.
I didn't think you'd want to do it. I didn't think you want to sacrifice your time.
Probably not.
So I will take the comfort.
All right, the last one here then is reinforce adoption of electric and more
efficient
vehicles.
That's a moot point, really, because that's happening.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
And manufacturers are taking it upon themselves really to do that anyway.
Yes. Sure are.
Yeah. Again, it's just another so-called audit that's been made to do things that they think are practical and that are useful, and actually they're not. Who audits these things? Who creates these proposals? Are they a normal person?
No.
Probably not, are
They're
they?
not your average Joe.
The person who created this audit probably does fly first class everywhere.
Possibly.
They probably do have a really nice car. They probably can afford to buy an electric car. They probably got the nicest Tesla anyone can buy.
Yeah.
So they're all right. Yeah. And one of those points for me should be more incentives to use motorcycles.
There's some interesting.
More efficient.
Yeah.
They are more efficient on parking as well. They're just a really good way to get around, especially in the cities. When was it? We had an article about that literally stated that. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think it might be in December. There was an article that was arguing about more incentives to use motorcycles because it just makes more sense. I don't know, man. I don't know, wishy-washy nonsense a lot of the time. But the only one that for me is less abhorrent is the motorway speed limit change. Even if it's just like on 1 day a week, or if it is on certain motorways and things like that, I think there's a way that we could do that. But I mean, funnily enough, in this other article actually that we did find that was released a week ago, one of the chaps that was asked about these proposals, he's let's see what it says. It's saying on here. No, AA President Edmund King said that drivers are already slowing down in a bid to conserve fuel and battery range. Battery range, with petrol, diesel, and electric prices higher than usual. I'm one of those people. If I'm doing those longer distances, I'm traveling slower anyway, just to try and make the most of that fuel that I've got. And they also say, ironically, we've already have 60 mile an hour limits on a couple of stretches of UK motorways due to air quality issues, and traffic frequently slowed down on other motorways due to incidents or false alarms, blah, blah, blah. And it's not even that. With all these motorways that have the variable speed limits now, they're rolling out everywhere. Which, again, it's an absolute pain. But a lot of the time, they have 60 miles an hour on them. Sometimes even 50 miles an hour on them. So, these are already things that we're doing. Maybe not for the reasons that the IEA...
Yep.
EIA?
IEA.
EIO. We're already doing these things for different reasons, whether that be, for congestion, whether that be for fuel efficiency, whatever. This person, Mr. King, also points out that many European countries, such as France, already have higher motorway limits of 130 kilometers an hour, which is 81 miles per hour. So it would be out of line with most countries. Is it the United States as well? They have a higher speed limit than us. I think some of the parts in the United States have 80 mile an hour speed limits. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that it was someone in the chat actually that mentioned it before. There was also the Autobahn, of course, in Germany. There are all these countries that are already going faster than us. So again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But
I guess watch this space and see next year might be looking at another article. Exactly the same.
Exactly,
again.
Yeah, exactly the same.
This may not come to anything.
No, it won't, because it's wishy-washy. It won't. The only thing that it will do is perhaps, get MPs to start asking questions about how they can change things, especially if it's in a bid to help Ukraine at the moment and, to reduce our reliance on Russian energy. But,
yes.
In that regard, then, we should be doing as much as we can. Russia is a rogue state that's doing things that no one would dream of, and all of a sudden it's plunged Europe into this frenzy, and it's just lowered everyone's confidence in the old order, how things were, and I don't think that should go unpunished personally. So no. Despite the fact that it affects the Russian people, but it does target Putin directly though, doesn't it? Because doesn't he make money off of the energy?
I have no idea.
He's got his fingers in so many pies in Russia. It's ridiculous. But anyway, let's
There's a few things we need to address in the comments.
Okay, yeah, let's do that then. All right.
The first four I think needs to be addressed.
Okay.
The first four.
All right. Well, I did address 125 guys' comment specifically earlier. Okay. All right. Lone Wolf UK. Hey, Goblin and Wifey. Could you please give me a shout out when you produce new content for your Patreon? Because at the moment I can't see anywhere being charged for empty pages and no responses. Okay. All right. So Lone Wolf, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Maybe we should just say hello to everyone first, actually, before we answer these questions. Why not? Lestat DeLion Court, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Steve 00 Alt, good to see you. Who else? Who else in the chat? Yeah, we said hello to 125 guy. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's just address Discord again. All right, just in case some of you missed it. So 125 guy asked earlier about why we weren't on Discord, and we're just not monitoring it all that much, because from our perspective it's meant to be a community-led thing. It's not supposed to be something that correct me if I'm wrong, okay, and if you want more involvement from us, then we'll try our best to accommodate. But yeah, it's I get notifications and things like that when people have asked me questions, or when people want to address me when they send me messages. I get all that, but I need to try and find the time to answer them. So we literally were looking earlier at a comment on another video that was made about why we don't respond to comments. And it's for the same reason. We had 60 to 70 comments over the last 2 weeks. And it ends up becoming one of those things where if we try and reply to every single comment that we get on YouTube or on Instagram, then it becomes just a full-time job in itself. All right. So it's not that we don't want to, it's just trying to find the time to actually do it. We have to organize these things. Now, I do apologize again. I apologized earlier about not being on Discord over the last weekend. Stuff came up. Yeah, we can't just, just it's things that we can't predict, that happen, and we weren't able to go on Discord. We're going to try going on this weekend, but the wifey's away this weekend as well. So we're going to try on Sunday when she's around. So we're going to try doing that. Now, with regard to your next point, so, right, the exclusive content, and remember, I mean, this is something that the audience asked for. They asked for the Discord, so we tried to provide the Discord. We tried to provide the Patreon because people want to help us directly. Now, exclusive content is one of those things that we will do as and when we can. Again, because the priority is the YouTube content. We are working, 10, 20 hours a week on the YouTube stuff. Because there are other projects as well that I want to work on, specifically for YouTube, where they're more long form content. They're more kind of like documentary style content, where we need a bit more time to do the research as well for the video. We need to write the scripts. And we've got about 3 or 4 videos in the pipeline where they require scripting and they require research to be done. Not to mention recording, things like that. Going out and shooting the moto vlogs is something that I can do spontaneously. As long as I can think of an idea, a discussion point that I think is interesting that people might want to discuss, then that's what we'll do. But I want you just to please bear with us. All right, we've got some ideas that we want to put into Patreon, but it's going to take time for it to build up. Yeah, remember, we have 3 Patreon members at the moment. I'm trying to promote the Patreon a bit more so we can, again, so it gives us more, I'm trying to find the right words here. I don't know, because the Patreon is one of those things that is kind of like a sideline project. It's not our primary focus, but we've got some ideas that we want to do. And again, remember about the weather and all that. We're not able to get out and about as much as I would like to as well.
Can I just make a point?
Yeah, sorry. Am I making excuses?
No, but
sorry, I don't mean to make excuses, because you are right. I want to say you are correct.
Yeah, okay.
We are.
No.
Sorry. Okay.
So appreciate that. I held my hands up. I haven't been on Discord. I will be going on this weekend. It's in my phone. If it's in my phone, it happens. And I don't like saying we're going to do something when we don't do it.
I don't like it either.
Unfortunately, some things came up at the weekend. Like we said, we just they need our attention, and everything else. Everything else had to be put to the wayside. We just couldn't. That just couldn't be held. When it comes to
and also as well because of the stuff that was happening on the weekend, we have to play catch up this week with our production schedule and things like that. Now, normally I like to have at least a week, maybe 2 weeks in advance of videos that are ready to go. Weren't able to do that either. Which we're playing catch up with that as well,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we do release 5 times a week at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Any time we're not working, we're working on Goblins. Like we don't forget about you guys. You guys are literally, and if someone hasn't been on, if someone hasn't been vocal in the chat that usually is, afterwards we're like, oh, do you think they're okay? If we haven't heard from them next week, we're gonna reach out. So we do think about you guys a lot, and we're not trying to make excuses. It's just that we do work full time. You have another role that you play outside of Goblins, as do I. And on top of that, our full-time jobs. So we are trying to juggle everything. But I think at the same time, we need to remember and give ourselves a break that this is in its infancy at the moment. Patreon and the channel, we're still trying to get to grips with everything. Still trying to see what works, what you guys want to see, what is having good reactions, what is getting views. So we are really trying our hardest to give you guys what you want. But we're also trying to not burn ourselves at both ends, so that at the end of the day, we end up really unwell and we can't produce anything. So Please
Well, I
forgive
think
us. We are trying our hardest at the moment.
It's also worth mentioning as well that we do appreciate the concern as well that's been raised. Just so I like it when people are actually able to say things up front, and if they have a concern and they want us to address it, then we will do our best to address them. Okay, and that's like what we're doing now anyway by default anyway. So anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. But please don't think that we're just like, here's Patreon. We're not going to do anything with it though.
No,
or here's Discord. You're never going to hear from us. We really are trying.
Yeah.
And we'll start to schedule it. Maybe we'll have a day a week or a couple of days a week where, and if we can't make it on, maybe we'll just say, can't be on because of X, Y, Z.
Or maybe it's just like you say, maybe it's just worth just touching base with everyone, saying, look, we're not going to be on this week. We'll be on next week or something.
Yeah.
Just to. Yeah, that's something we can do.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, even if it's just a case of, like I said, just touching base with everyone.
Yeah.
Lestat de Lion Court. Pardon me for saying, but why do you use the live to answer some of your comments in Patreon and YouTube? Something like a Q&A. Simple suggestion.
So at the end
we have actually done Q&As before, but it's not something that I don't know. I've never thought of a Q&A being interesting for people.
No.
Unless it's to ask us personal questions, to get to know us a bit more, But hey, if it's something you guys want, then maybe we can add them into the live shows, make them more of a regular thing, and we can have a Q&A section. But then again, it kind of defaults to a Q&A anyway, because we try to answer as much of the chat that comes through anyway. This is our opportunity to get involved with you guys.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's not one of those things that, again, like I said earlier, we're not ignoring comments on YouTube. It's just finding the time to answer the comments, which I go through a lot of comments, but a lot of the time, they're if it's a question, I'll try my best to answer it. But then I've had this before where someone will say, "Thank you for answering my question. Can you ask me this question?" And so you end up having this long form conversation with someone that can take a long time to complete. And, the comment section isn't really designed for the creator. It's designed for the community to interact with the video, with the content. Now, I'll try my best, but like I said, again, it's just finding the time to do it. I could spend literally hours a week going through YouTube comments. Hours per week.
I guess I know my new job then.
Well.
Look, we'll there's obviously a discussion to be had between us that we'll
see if we can organise it a bit more.
Yeah. So, Steve, I absolutely love your picture. That's Totoro. With my neighbour Totoro.
Oh, right, yeah.
I love
I know. I couldn't see the little profile picture.
I appreciate that's one of my favourite characters from the Ghibli movies.
Yeah, Lestat de Lion Court, because trying to discuss old news is kind of impossible. Just pick up some questions and create a deeper connection between you and the Goblin Horde. Yeah, I agree. I
think one caveat to put to that is if someone asks us a question and we then address it on the show, but they don't watch the show, they're still not going to get their answer.
Well, that's well, yeah, but this applies to both the live show and also the YouTube comments as well. So if there's a comment that someone made, I don't know, even 4 weeks ago, that's old news. It's useless me responding to that then. There's no point. So I do get your point. We have to be very select with what we respond to, and we don't touch the comments. We don't anything that people put down in the comments. We don't touch it. We don't remove them. If it's done, it's done automatically by the YouTube algorithms and whatever the community guidelines, things like that. It's not done by us. We don't touch it. And so because even like negative comments, people put down negative comments, and the general consensus is not to respond to negative comments because there's no point. You're never going to win. But for me, my attitude towards negative comments is that, well, I need to try and convert this person into a positive viewer, you know, rather than just letting this person walk away with a negative view of our channel. I want to try and encourage them a little bit more. I want to try and, I don't know, if they have a question or if they have a concern or if there's something that they didn't like, allow us the opportunity to kind of clarify whatever that issue was with them. And you never know, they might end up becoming a subscriber themselves. So again, being very, very select with which comments people we respond to. But again, this is why we like doing this on the live show, because it's more convenient for everybody involved.
And you also get our honest to God live review, view our reaction to things.
But our initial response, our initial reaction, it's not something that, I don't know, we can't hide behind anything here, And I don't think that's a bad thing. And also, and if I'm being honest as well, being kind of devil's advocate here a little bit, it incentivizes people to join us on the live show, because then they know they're going to get their questions answered.
Yeah.
If we have the time and we're not limited, then we will answer the questions. We'll go through as much as we can.
Yeah.
So again, there's something else to think about. That's all. Steve, is it Steve 00 or Steve O? Steve O. we know a Steve O.
I've just gone with Steve.
Yeah, Steve. What are your thoughts on Zonti's bikes?
Do you know what? I've actually just had a look at them because I saw your comment. So they look. I've never heard of them.
I'm going to be honest. I have never heard of Zonti's before.
Look how cool that looks. They come with a 2-year warranty. They're single cylinder.
Okay.
Keyless control. I'm just reading the highlights, so this is,
So is this like a startup? A new...
I have absolutely no idea.
I've never heard of them before.
Ignition switch, lock switch. Electric starting switch. Seat release switch.
Well, shall we...
There's lots of switches on this bike.
Shall we bring it up on...
Yeah, this is on ZONTES.
Let's have a look here. So we can share this with everybody then.
Hazard warning button. Gosh, there's a lot in this.
There we go.
They look neat. They look quite cool.
So let's have a look at the what page are you on at the moment? Are you just on about or something?
I have absolutely no idea what I'm on. I'm on the 125, I think. Yeah, there's on
it's
ZT125U.
Or maybe I have been on this site before. I recognise some of the bikes, but I don't know if that's just...
that's the U1.
The what, sorry?
That's the U1. I'm on the U.
Yeah. That's very, very KTM inspired, don't you think?
Yeah, I like it though.
Looks exactly like a Duke 125 or a Duke 390. Where are they from?
I've no idea.
We'll have to do a bit more research on these guys.
There's no... I can't see an about page. Let me have a little look.
Well, it's definitely something to look out for. It would be nice. We'll have to do a bit more research on this company to get a proper feel for what they do. I mean, they have a full range of motorcycles. Are they all 125s?
No, I don't think so.
No, they got some big ones as well. Well, big-ish.
It's a Chinese brand.
Ah, okay.
That's trying its luck in the Indian automobile space. A subsidiary
that
of
TFT
Guangdong
Dash
Teo.
looks awesome. Sorry, say again. Subsidiary of who?
I don't want to say it again. Guangdong Teo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fair enough. We'll have to look at that. I've never heard of them before.
Because obviously, I mean, well, we don't speak overly positively on Chinese bikes. Well, just from my experience of them back in the 2000s, I know that companies like Lexmoto are trying to change that perception, and it looks like Zonti's might be trying to as well. I mean, they look professional, but it does look like they do look a bit rippy offy.
I like the look of them though.
Yeah, but it's because they're inspired by other bikes, the looks of other bikes. That's
Yeah.
It's a typical thing that a lot of Chinese brands do. They will rip off the design of other companies because they know that that's what people like. They like the look of them and stuff. But so one thing that I struggle with Chinese bikes, a lot of them are made in the exact same factories.
Right.
So if you look at a Lex Moto, if you look at I'm trying to think of another Chinese brand off the top of my head. I used to have a Lifan or Lifan. I don't know how you pronounce it, but the bikes that they would produce are exactly the same in terms of the way they looked, exactly the same. And I mean, the one that I had in particular was based off of a CBF 125 from Honda, and it's and the Lex Moto also have a bike that is based off a CBF 125. So I don't know. I'll keep my mind open, but yeah, I hope that the Chinese market does change for the better, because you want some legitimate products coming out of China. You know, if they can have one decent brand coming out of China, then it could change the perception of Chinese bikes. So I don't know, maybe this is the company to do it. We'll see. But yeah, no, never heard of them before. So thank you for letting us know about them. To be honest, it's safer for motorcyclists
with less cars out.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, congestion and using motorcycles for city riding, things like that, isn't it? Yeah, it's true. I mean, I say that it doesn't paint a good picture, does it? When you look at cities in India, when you look at cities in Southeast Asia, where there are bikes everywhere. But because of the lack of road rules and road awareness and things like that, there are accidents all the time in those countries. I mean, well, you've seen the Top Gear episodes where they're out in India and in Vietnam and places like that, where they have a lot of bikes and a lot of traffic, a lot of congestion. And I don't know if I'd want to ride a motorcycle in those countries.
On our reaction videos, we've seen some instances where I've gone, ooh, that's a bit close.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
You know, it's like people overtaking when there's oncoming traffic. Obviously, oncoming traffic, they just expect the oncoming traffic to move over for them. Things like that. It's just ridiculous. So, yes and no. I think it might depend on the country that it's kind of in.
About, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah. You'd like to think that in somewhere like the UK, it would be safer, having less cars out. But
you just don't know, do you?
It's a hard one.
But then does it encourage people to ride more like idiots because there's less congestion, there's less cars? It's
maybe.
It's a tale of two sides, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah. Steve, even if public transport is great, I'll still use my Zontes 125. Me too. To be honest, even if public transport was free, I'd still use my bike to get around. Why not? If
you can go somewhere where you don't have to take a car and you can take your bike, you will. You'll find a way to do it.
Steve mentioned about electric unicycles as well. I have one. I have an electric unicycle. I used to use it quite a lot when because I used to work in a town that was, I don't know, probably about 10 miles away from where I lived, but it wasn't really a distance that I could do on the unicycle specifically. So I would drive my car to this place. But the problem is that parking there is absolutely awful. There's no parking anywhere. So everyone was forced to park outside of the town. So I would do that, but then I'd use my unicycle to get me the final paces to work, because it was just more efficient rather than using stupid park and ride and all that stuff that local councils would want people to use. It just made more sense. I mean, the wifey had an electric scooter as well.
I had to go to work on that every day.
Yeah, I used to go to work on that. Because again, there's no point in taking... I mean, that's when we used to live quite close to town though, wasn't it? And you used to walk before then, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So again, just made it more efficient.
But when I started work at the other place, which was like a half an hour walk, having an electric scooter made it much easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Just got to work, charged it up, and I was ready to go home. It was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Cycle to work was to purchase bike and gear and repay by deductions on your salary. Oh, okay, so
right.
it was so tax deductions. Got ya.
Like a benefit in kind type thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could also do commuter at home schemes, paying back the same way. Yeah, I suppose you're right.
I think a lot of them you don't hear about, so I don't know about half
Well,
of
no,
them.
a lot of them are company incentives, aren't they?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think a company I used to work for did something similar where they would have a cycle to work scheme. They would have carpool schemes and things. I think this is about 5 years ago now, but it was never something that I got involved with, so I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how it all worked. But
yeah,
I mean, again, but it makes sense if you're working in an office where you've got multiple people that live in a similar area. Then fine, it makes sense. It's just when the driver, because it's the driver that has to use their car. It's the driver that's got to pay for the fuel. Even the fuel cost can be divided and things like that, unless they can get some kind of tax relief for maintenance and things like that of the cars.
And it's if you work in shifts, it's got to make sure you've got that you're finishing and starting at the same time, and there's a lot goes into it.
But it's just like you were saying, the whole detour thing.
Yeah. Because
no one ever lives, a straight line to work. So you've got to take these detours, and when it's in rush hour traffic as well, you could turn, like if you are the person that is driving the car for a carpool, it could turn a journey that would normally take half hour could turn it into an hour, and then the same on the way back as well, because most people that work in offices are doing 9 to 5 jobs. Well, they're traveling during rush hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tough one for me. That's a tough one. L'estat de l'encore. Exactly. And in the live, he can touch on subjects such as plans to cut fuel, and then a third of the live could be Goblin answering messages instead of reading the comment from the chat. I don't quite understand.
So I think what they're saying is, if we spent 2/3 of the show talking about a topic, and then the last third of the show going through comments and like going through questions.
I see.
As opposed to us going through the comments in the chat.
Yeah, but that's a bit more. It's not it's not convenient for people, is it? Because like you were saying before about people joining the live show, not everyone's going to see our responses.
No. Look, I think with any comments that are around this, I think we'll take them away, and I think we need to look at them and have a chat. Obviously, suggestions are welcome. We just need to have a chat about how we can get them to work, can't we? Really?
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to cop out though.
No, I'm not.
I don't want to be like, oh no, we'll let you know later.
No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, we need to see how we could make it work and make it fair for everyone.
See, and they say it's not like we're going to have 2,500 people in the chat. Well, you say that, but a lot of the time when it comes to a particular message in the chat here on the live show, it's not something that we can answer in a single sentence.
No.
We like to really go through the, because it's a bit more personal. It's a bit more, it's not as dismissive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we don't want to be like, right, here's your answer in the next 30 seconds.
Because I like to chime in with how I feel about something that someone said, and because that's how we grow as a community, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Steve, I think Uber does motorcycles.
What? Really? Oh, I want to look into that. I wonder what they provide.
That is one hell of a comment. How did you find out about this stuff?
Oh wait, Uber or Uber Eats?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Because Uber Eats, you can do motorbikes with. Yeah, you can do.
Yeah, no. But I mean, from the comment, it sounds like as if Uber produce motorcycles.
No.
Is that
no,
what?
No.
Okay. I got the wrong end of the stick then. All right.
Yeah. Moving on. That's funny.
Lone UK Goblin, to help younger riders find alternatives transports to work. Have you heard of Wheels to Work scooter hire? CBT included. You also get some protective clothing and a helmet. Some e-bikes are also available. Interesting. No, I've not heard of that. No.
Wheels to Work.
Again, it's one of those things that doesn't really apply to us because it's not a service that we require. But how do you get that? How do you expose that to other people? I think is probably the challenge for these people, because if we've never heard of them, if people don't hear about it, then how does it incentivize people to to do it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it looks like, and I could be wrong, it looks like it's...
Is it solely around London or something?
No, but I mean, there's
a lot of these things are around London, aren't they? It's a bit
this
annoying.
one is in Bristol, but it looks like it might just be certain areas that maybe it's like up and coming, maybe it's in trial period.
Yeah.
I don't
know.
We'll have a look at that.
Again, that's another interesting thing. I think it just needs a bit more promotion.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, definitely. Lone Wolf had a friend that loaned a bike from them, much cheaper, and they travel 45 miles each morning to commute. Really interesting. Yeah, that might be something that we can promote every once in a while if it's legit and it's good value for people, and it helps people get on motorcycles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's something maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, for
a bit more detail at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, we've got another dog here with us today. We're looking after her. So
yeah, the pug has changed into a golden retriever.
Yeah, the parents are coming to pick her up soon.
They're here.
Oh, are they here already?
Yeah,
Blimey,
yeah.
sorry. What do you want to go do that?
Yeah.
I can answer a few more of these.
There's a couple of questions I just want to pick out first, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah,
just
go for it.
The bottom.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, the junket is mine. And as it's been mentioned, Lone Wolf says that it's gathering dust. Yes and no. I do want to play it more, but obviously you got to think about acoustics, time of day, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, this is mine. I've had this since I was in year 4. Another one was about our names has come up again. What our real names are. My name is not Pauline.
Good guess.
I don't think I look like a Pauline.
Good guess. Well, we had a live show before where I gave everyone the first letter of my name.
Yeah, and
no one's got that yet.
It's not Steve or John. The chance of us giving our name out is extremely slim.
Oh, I don't know. It will come out at some point.
Yeah, just not yet.
It will come out at some point. I have no doubt.
Okay,
but
so
it's not something that we actively. I don't know. It's like stage names, isn't it? You know, it just makes it easier for people to communicate with each other without having to know their full identities, kind of thing. I don't know. It's just something that we've done. I mean, it's like before when we started off the channel, we didn't show our faces either.
No.
I believe the first ever live show that we did was the first time we showed our faces to everyone.
And I think I literally saying that we have faces.
Yeah.
I think that was.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so it's not that we're trying not to be someone that we're not. It's just that we're protecting that part of our identity for now. Okay, I might be back depending how long this takes me.
Yeah, of course.
Ride safe, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak on Sunday.
Have we got time for Sunday?
Yeah.
What time?
I put it in my calendar at 8. I thought I'd give a good idea.
For 8. Okay, so we'll both be on Discord at 8 o'clock then on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, sorry, I need a blanket.
She's got a blanket in here as well.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, she won't go home without this. Oh, gosh. Bye.
See you later. All right. Let's see what else then. Yeah, Steve. So you have a Zontes 125U. Has plenty of power for me at the moment. 30 miles an hour feels so fast. That's pretty good actually, because again, referring back to my old 125, the lower speeds were hard to get to, even with that bike. Trying to get to 30 miles an hour was difficult for that bike. On my wife's Ninja 125, on the other hand, getting to 30, 40 miles an hour, even 50 miles an hour can be done pretty damn quickly. And there have been occasions where we've been out on rides together, and she gets off the line really quickly, and I don't struggle to catch up with her, but I've got to actively try to catch up with her, if you know what I mean. So I've got to actually pull the throttle back a little bit, and so a lot of modern 125s can be pretty pokey, which is stark contrast to the old Chinese bikes that they used to make back in the mid 2000s or whenever it was. But yeah. No, that's okay. Well, we'll have to check them out then. I think if they've got like a dealership or multiple dealerships in the UK. It might be worth having a look at them. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Lone Wolf UK, to confirm, I'm willing to help out in any way. Meetups, dual vlogs, shout outs, sound bites, editing. Give me a shout back at any time. It's been a pleasure watching you ride, but why do you need a script? I appreciate your comment, mate. It's so I mean, it depends on the content that we want to produce. That we've done it before, where we've got like a more documentary style content, and one of our most popular videos, the one that's done the best ever, was a scripted kind of documentary style video. And I mean, that's unfortunately, when it comes to moto vlogs, a lot of people don't actually engage with moto vlogs. So it might pick up views, it might do quite well on the algorithm, but it doesn't necessarily convert people to new subscribers or things like that. Whereas the documentary content tends to convert a lot more subscribers than the moto vlogging stuff does. So that's why I want to do it. And we can take a bit more time doing it. It can be a bit more professional. It can be a bit more researched. It can be something that is, I don't know, like just something a bit different, something a bit fresher, rather than having just the motor vlogs all the time. But hey, I mean, again, I'm open to ideas or open to suggestions when it comes to moto vlogs and what you guys actually want to see. Dope Style Gaming, I haven't seen him in the chat today, unfortunately, but he did make a suggestion before about doing kind of like ASMR content, which is something that I thought about before, but until I've actually tried it, it's not something that I'm overly confident in doing, if you know what I mean. Again, ASMR is not something that I'm involved with at all. I don't watch it. I don't react to it. I don't I don't get involved with ASMR stuff whatsoever. Not even for personal use. Is that the way how you'd say it? So again, that's something new that we might consider at some point, even if it's just to kind of get an experience of a particular motorcycle without any vocal commentary, something like that. So it doesn't have to be ASMR related. It can be just kind of point of view, riding the motorcycle and what it looks like to ride the motorcycle. Just something like that was a good suggestion that I think is something that we could look at in the future. But yeah, that's something that I'm open to ideas when it comes to motovlogs for sure. Forget the script, be yourself. That's the guy we tune in for. I do appreciate it. Honestly, I do appreciate that, mate. Thank you. 125 guy, if you're Patreon, you could put your YouTube videos on a few days earlier. It gives people, it gives people paying for something. Yes, I agree. Having early release content was something that me and the wifey were seriously considering, but we didn't feel like as if it actually offered that much. And I know that's probably it's like saying that, well, we're not offering much at the moment anyway, apart from just the Discord. But it's something that we thought about. We might do that. We might do that. Again, because it messes around with our production schedule, and it means that the videos that we release, we'd have to push them back a little bit further. So like a month in advance, for example, or something like that. We'd have to produce them a month in advance, film them and edit them a month in advance. So then we have the time, and people on Patreon can view the videos like a meaningful period, if you know what I mean, rather than like a couple of days before actual release on YouTube. I don't know. It's something that we'd need to organize, and we need to plan it, and we need to think about it, I think. Because again, like right now, for example, it wouldn't work right now, just simply because we've had to play catch up after Christmas with other stuff that's been going on. So yeah, as much as something that we'd like to do, again, it's not necessarily practical for us right now. And if we were going to do that, it would have to be consistent for me, and I can't guarantee that it would be consistent if that makes sense. So yeah, just something for us to think about, really. Steve, would doing weekend only vids be better? That's the time I spend to do the filming. So I tend to edit videos during the week and actually film them on the weekends. It gets really hard this time of year because we just get darkness all the time. There's a window of maybe 5 or 6 hours where it's light enough for the GoPro to actually capture crisp without having that grain effect, if you know what I mean, from the darkness. So again, it's just one of those things where time of year is affecting. Because if I think of a video idea and it's the evening, during the summer months, usually I go out and just shoot it because it's in my brain and I've got that creative inspiration. I don't like leaving things to weekends if I can help it, but unfortunately at the moment that's all I can do. But yeah. So I mean, if we were just to release videos on weekends specifically, I mean, we used to release content just twice a week, once on Mondays, once on Fridays. Then we did the live show as well on Thursdays. Then we increased the video output to 5 videos a week, except we had live show clips on Tuesdays, and we used to have like a reaction video on Wednesdays, I think it was. But the live show clips weren't really doing that well, so we just did away with them. And then in the end, we just did another motovlog on Wednesdays instead, of moved the reaction videos to Tuesdays. It's just an experiment. It's all kind of, we're trying to work things out as we go. And if something works, then we try and keep it rolling the same if we can. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But yeah, it's a constantly evolving process for us, for sure. Steve, you need to hire a third person. Yeah, well, unfortunately, YouTube doesn't pay us that well yet. But as soon as we do have that capability, we will. The very first thing we want to do is hire an editor, just to take that pressure off, because a lot of the effort that goes into making videos is in the editing process rather than the filming. But you've got to find time for all of it. But yeah, definitely an editor is something that I'd like to look at. I even thought about this time last year, when I actually know it's more like summer last year, about maybe hiring a student part-time, someone who's in film and editing, they're studying at a university or at college, and get them involved in helping us produce videos, I don't know, once a week or once a month, something like that. But again, that's just something that I've thought about. Hello, wifey.
Hello.
She's back.
Dog's been delivered.
Dog's been delivered.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we've got some really interesting messages here in the chat. So, yeah, 125 guy, you don't need to spend hours in the Discord. 5 or 10 minutes just to say hey or a quick response. Yeah, that's what you suggested, wasn't it? Earlier, was just to touch base with everyone, especially if we didn't have that much time to put into it. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, mate.
I don't even know where you are in the messages.
I'm near the bottom, I think.
No.
Call on, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Hope you're doing all right. Dave H, good to see you, mate. Mark SG, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Yeah. Good morning to you in Australia. Yeah, we're going to be signing off soon. I just want to get through all of these messages here in the chat, just because I don't want to miss anything if there's something important, because that's been happening for the past few weeks where we haven't had the time to go through every message in the chat. So. Yeah, so I want to try and get through it.
And then time kind of gets away from us.
Yeah.
And we're already, you guys like us have worked all day. You want to have your dinner. We don't want to keep you. Trying to be conscious, aren't we?
Lowmorph UK says it's gathering dust.
If you can see dust from where you're sitting, your eyesight must be absolutely amazing.
To be fair, I mean, I know the wifey would like to use the drum kit a bit more, but this room isn't soundproof. So if you bang on the drums, the neighbours all the way up the road can hear it.
Not to mention my own hearing.
Well, yeah, but you can wear earmuffs or something to help.
We've toyed with the idea of getting me an electric one.
An electric kit, yeah, instead. But the thing is, though, I mean, we have this in the background, not just because it's a convenient place to store it, because I think it looks nicer in the background to have some musical instruments,
We should have said that it's actually like CGI or like a backdrop.
Yeah, I wish. I wish I knew how to do that.
There is a live show somewhere where I have actually played this, not very well and not very long, because I haven't played in a while. But I will pick it back up. Maybe if we can get me an electric one, I'll do it then.
Yeah.
But I've had this kit for 20-something years. It's mad.
Lestat de Lion Core. How do you feel about vinyl wraps for bikes? Would it help protect your original paintwork? I've never ever thought about vinyl wrapping a motorcycle. I've seen it done before on cars before. I mean, they did it recently on Hilo on Donut Media, and the result was okay because you get that matte finish that I know a lot of people like. But unless it's done properly, then it can be just it can look awful because you get like the bubbles and things like that.
Didn't Linus do that to his car? Vinyl wrapped it, or do you paint?
No, that was his old car. He did that.
See, I like
that was his old. Oh God, I can't remember. No, it wasn't vinyl wrapped. It was painted pink.
Oh right, yeah. I knew he did something.
Oh God, that was a blast from the past. That was ages ago when he had that car. He's got a Chevy Volt now, I think, which is like an electric Chevy car. It's very nice. It looks nice anyway.
What was I going to say to you? I like watching the videos. I find them really soothing, and like because it takes such skill to vinyl wrap something properly. But I personally, controversial opinion, don't see the point. Because if I brought a bike, like my bike is green.
Well, you say that, but what if you got a vinyl wrap that's clear?
Ah, well, yeah, fair.
So not a vinyl wrap to change the colour of the bike, but get a vinyl wrap to like Lion Core said, to just protect the paintwork.
But isn't that like putting cling film on something? It's not really.
It is, and of course, because you'll get rid of that shine finish. You'll have a matte finish again. That's the only thing.
But to go back to the point that's been made, if you then drop your bike, is it a bit like having a screen protector on your phone? The screen protector / vinyl gets damaged, but the actual product itself doesn't.
It would depend on. It would protect from things like stone chips. But from a full-on drop, well, it'll probably just rip the vinyl off.
But then are you in any worse position than you were before? Probably not.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but for me, stone chips are really bloody annoying. On both the ZH2 and the ZZR, they have little stone chips. Yeah. And even though you can get like little pots of paint to cover them up a little bit, make it look a bit nicer,
the same, do they?
It's just annoying. It's just a pain.
If we were ever in the position to have like a project bike, we should try it, vinyl wrap it, take it out on like, I don't know, some gravel. See what happens. Not gravel, because that's obviously dangerous.
Oh, that is an idea. Well, yeah, if we vinyl wrap half the bike, we'll drop that half, keep the other half not vinyl wrapped, and drop that, and see what the difference is.
And we'll both do this. Drop it.
Yeah, we could.
Watch it.
We could definitely do
There's
that.
A thought. There we go.
Yeah, that is something we could do. What else? Oh, Dave H. Excellent podcast. You are the next generation to carry the flame. Thank you, mate. That's a very nice comment. Texas is 80 miles an hour. Arizona is 75. But you better go 80 or get off the road.
Love it. So Love there's it. Like the law and then the unwritten law.
Yeah.
Love that. It's great.
I wish 80 was the speed limit here. I really do. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lone Wolf UK. It'd be fun to watch you check comments on Discord now. You look comfy at the moment and you have a smile on your face. Yeah. No, I was in a mood before because you know when someone creates when they have a criticism of something and you know it's true, that's the worst because they because you know what I mean. Because you know it to be true yourself, and when I don't know. It's just a lot of the time with these things when they're outside of your control, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. At least over the last couple of weeks, there's been nothing we could have done about it.
No,
it's
you're
just,
right.
Yeah, it just annoys me even more.
I think the thing is as well, because it's a passion project, and that we like to obviously put our all into it, and we want to make sure that we're doing what we say we're going to do. It's not when we get called out, but when it gets pointed that actually we're not doing what we said, I feel disappointed in myself. You can't help but feel like, we've let someone down.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes to. So we're not necessarily annoyed at the comment that's been left.
No, we're annoyed
at ourselves. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
So
no, absolutely. But that's the thing, though. I mean, I look forward to doing these live shows every week because interacting with you guys really does put a smile on my face. Like legit, it's not an act. It's something makes me genuinely happy to say hello to some mates you know?
Yeah.
I feel. So, yeah. But no, I mean, I do appreciate everything that you guys have been saying. Don't think that I don't. This is something that I try to do as much as I can, and that is to be open-minded towards criticism, you know, accepting if I'm wrong about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that you guys want to help us out, and I know that you want to, you know, you want us to succeed and all that. And yeah, that's really, really admirable. And I mean, hey, we wouldn't be here without you guys anyway. So, I mean, we will try making more of an effort now that kind of like the holiday blues is out the way.
Do you know what I think is going to be easier though as well? When we have more daylight.
Well, I mean, that was suggested before about, you know, what about doing things on weekends and things, and I said, well, we do. At the moment, the weekends is all that we can do in terms of filming, and then editing is done during the week. But when we do get that spring, summer daylight, it does make things a hell of a lot easier for us.
Yeah, it does. And
it gives us a lot more freedom to choose when we want to film, when we want to edit, because it's not so time restricted. But yeah, that's just how it goes. I mean, this is the first year that we are continuing to release videos on the same schedule, even during the winter.
Yeah.
Last year, it was last year in January we released one video a week. In January, I think it was the same in February as well, and then from March time when we started getting some lighter weather again, so we increased that back to 2 videos a week again. Yeah. So we are, again, I mean, that just goes to show you guys how much time we actually have to try and produce this stuff. We try as much as we can.
The thing is, we care so much that we scheduled being unwell when we didn't have to do the live show, release any videos.
Yeah, that's another
that was
thing
another
as well.
massive thing that we had to deal with.
But again, though, that really annoyed me because it was that week that I wanted to get some stuff done for the first week in January.
And we were wiped out.
Never got around to it because we had COVID.
Yeah.
So it absolutely sucks. So we're still playing catch up from that.
Yeah, and that was 3 weeks ago.
Yep. Absolutely sucks. But there you go.
Again, we're not trying to make excuses.
There you go. Yeah. Welcome to YouTube, all YouTubers juggling this hassle. Yeah, and juggling. Lol. Yeah, that's from Steve. Yep. Yeah, it's true. It's not an easy thing to do by any means, but I mean, we're here for the bikes. We're here for you guys. So, yeah, we're doing this, I think, for a cause.
Yeah.
You know, the right reasons. But anyway, that will do for today's show. I think I've gone through every single message in the chat today, so hope you guys are doing all right anyway. Don't know about you, but I've been struggling to sleep this week just because of still trying to get back into routine of being an adult and all that at the moment, which sucks. Just want to be a child and ride my bikes all the time, but there you go. Is what it is.
And I'm the other problem. I can't get enough sleep right now.
Yeah.
It's all I do, I feel. Like,
no,
sleep.
I don't know why sleep's been hard to come by, but like you said earlier, January's just the month for me to be depressed. So there you go. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching this show again. Thank you to all of you who put your concerns and your messages in the chat for us. We'll try making more of an effort, especially now that we're getting back into the swing of things. And yeah,
we appreciate your patience and your honesty.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah, honesty is best policy.
Someone once said to me, "I can't help you if I don't know what's going on."
Exactly.
Sounds really obvious, but if you don't tell us you're not happy with something,
we're
not doing something right or enough,
that's why we appreciate it. We're
just going to continue doing it because we don't know any better.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
but anyway, yeah, we'll let you guys get on with your evenings. Thank you again. We've got a video coming out tomorrow as per usual. Hopefully I'll see you then. If not, hope you have a good weekend. And we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, we'll speak to you on Sunday if you're about.
We'll speak to you on Sunday, yeah. Take care, everyone.
Ride safe.